Uh, Good morning, guys, or good evening. So, in our last session, we started discussing about EC2. So, we haven't discussed anything technically. So, here in our today's session, we are going to start discussing about these EC2 instant types and what are the categories we have and how we are going to choose and how to launch our first EC2 instance. Right? So, any questions before starting today's session, guys? I'll share the district quiz today. Uh, no questions? All right. So when coming to EC2, so as you are aware, EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So within this EC2, we are going to launch our instances. So EC2 is a service where it provides the instances. So based on our requirement, we need to choose the server. So server is nothing but instance. So the first instant type is on-demand EC2 instances. So when coming to on-demand EC2 instance, so in what case we are going to use, or the use case is, see, for the first time we are testing our application. We don't have any clarity what configuration we required and all. So in that case, we are going to choose on-demand EC2 instances. So you are not fixed for a particular configuration or no specific workload predicted, right? In all these cases, we go with the on-demand EC2 instances. So workload is an unpredictable workload. We don't know, or testing our application for the first time, or like you want to get a clarity what configuration you required. So in that case, we are going to use on-demand EC2 instance or no stable workloads also. No stable workloads. For example, you are getting like sometimes the traffic is very high, sometimes the traffic is very low. So you want to run sometime with two instances, sometime with only one instance. So in all these cases, we prefer to go with the on-demand EC2 instance. Of course, unpredictable workload and no stable workload both are similar, right? So here the important thing is the pricing. So for most of the instances, cost us per second basis, per second, but with minimum of 60 seconds. So that means if you are running a server from last 300 seconds, so from last 5 minutes you are running a server, so then by end of the month we are going to get bill for 300 seconds. But in similar scenario, you launch the server and you just ran it for 20 seconds, so then you have terminate, just assume it as a deleted. So after 20 seconds, you're done with your requirement and you deleted that. So, but still we will get bill of 60 seconds. See, this is the minimum bill we are going to get 60 seconds. Even if you launch for 1 second also, we are going to get bill of 60 seconds. So that is a on-demand EC2 instance. Okay. So second one is reserved instances. We call it as a RI, reserved instances. So when coming to reserved instance, okay, you have tested your workload with the on-demand EC2 instance. So you finalized one configuration. Now you decided to go with the configuration for your application for coming 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. So in that case also, do we really need to go with this per second basis or per hour basis billing? No, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can purchase your instance under reserved instances. So the advantage with this reserved instance is it Amazon gives some discount, good amount of discounts. Okay, so this reserved instances. predictable workloads, or stable workloads, and for long-term runs with AWS, you can go and choose this reserved instances. So within reserved instance, we have duration, like, you need to choose like a 1 year duration or 3 years duration. So if you require more than that, you need to contact AWS. I really don't know the reason. So why they haven't given 5 years or 10 years and all, you can contact and AWS will renew that for every 3 years. Okay. So within this reserved instance also, we have another three types. So one is standard reserved instance. Second one is convertible reserved instance. Third one is scheduled reserved instance. So when coming to the first scenario, see, it is a predictable workload. It is a predictable workload, and you know what configuration you required for your application. So you have selected one configuration. So you decided to go with the 1 year. Okay. So again, you got a doubt within 1 year. Do we have any thought to upgrade this configuration? Downgradation is not possible with reserved instance, only upgradation is possible. So do we need to upgrade this configuration? If your answer is yes, then don't choose this standard reserved instance. Go with the convertible reserved instance. Why? Because whatever the configuration we choose with the standard reserved instance, we cannot change the configuration during the period, like 1 year or 3 years period. During that, we cannot change the configuration. Okay. When coming to convertible reserved instance, yes, we can upgrade the configuration. As Amazon is giving this flexibility, they are going to cost bit more compared to standard instance. Compared to standard reserved instance, they are going to cost bit more. Okay, but the option they are giving for convertible reserved instance is during that 1 year, if at any time you want to upgrade that, yes, you can do that. Then scheduled reserved instance. When coming to scheduled reserved instances, see, you need it for 1 year. Fine, but within that 1 year, you want to run it only from Monday morning to Friday evening. Saturday, Sundays, you don't want to run. Or else weekly, you want to run it for 40 hours only. Weekly, you want to run it for only 20 hours only. Or you want to run only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In such type of scenarios, we can go with the scheduled reserved instance. So this scheduled reserved instance is not available in all the regions. First thing. Second thing, 90% of the times we don't get this scheduled reserved instance. We can go and purchase standard reserved and convertible reserved, but we cannot purchase that scheduled reserved instance most of the times, right? But so persistent request during the purchased duration. So that means example is like Monday to Friday you want to run, or weekly 40 hours. In such type of scenarios, we are going to use this schedule reserved instance. So we cannot change the configuration. We do have a flexibility to change the configuration schedule reserved instance. Here also we cannot change the configuration. So, but we can run for a fixed durations. We need to choose first while purchasing only that particular duration only we can run it. So if you want to run more than that, it won't allow. Okay. So when coming to pricing for this, here we have total three pricing options with these reserved instances. One is, see, you are purchasing an instance for 1 year. So if you have enough money, you can pay all the amount at your time and you can get your EC2 instance. If you don't have enough money, what you can do, Amazon will tell you, okay, pay 40 to 50% now, remaining amount. You pay monthly basis. Monthly, how many hours you are going to run, pay monthly basis. So the third one is pay everything monthly basis. So the first one is full upfront. Full upfront, pay 100% now, get your instance. So Amazon will tell you, okay, pay this much amount, you will get your EC2 instance. After getting your EC2 instance, as you paid full amount, whether you are keeping it in running state or stopped state, that doesn't matter. If you are keeping it in running state or stopped state, you are not using that Amazon won't worry about that. And as you already paid, right? So the second one is partial upfront. So this is like, pay some amount now, get your EC2 instance. As you're paying some amount now, what Amazon will do, Amazon will reduce the hourly price. So generally, if you are getting an EC2 instance under no upfront, if the cost is like a $1 per hour, as you're paying $350 or $400 now, Amazon reduced that $1 price to 40 cents. So for that, with that 40 cents, how many hours you are running within that month, you will get charged for that. So pay, it is not fixed, guys. Pay 30 to 50 percentage now. As you paid that amount, AWS will reduce the hourly price within month. How many hours you are using, pay for that only. So you got your EC2 instance, but you are not using that anymore. So you don't get bill for with that reduced price also. With that reduced price also, you won't get charged. So that is partial upfront. Third one is no upfront. This is like, zero down payment. No need to pay anything, pay everything monthly basis. But price is going to be same as on demand. The advantage is the system is reserved. So Amazon won't tell, okay, we don't have any resource in this region and all. So when coming to no upfront, so need to pay hourly basis. Right, so this is a reserved instances. Again, price varies based on the operating system, based on the configuration, right? Based on whether you are going with the full upfront. If you are going with full upfront, you will get good amount of discount. Partial, some amount of discount, no discount, it almost same as on-demand EC2 pricing. Again, for standard, as they are not giving any flexibility, normal price. As they are giving a flexibility to upgrade the configuration, they will cost bit more. Scheduled, you can find it in Northern Virginia, but most of the times you won't get it, right? So these are the reserved instances. We have another category, that is spot instances. So when coming to spot instances, so this looks a bit different than these existing ones. See, so you have seen one EC2 instance. So that instance configuration bit high and price also very high. You are not ready to pay that much price for the EC2 instance. In that case, you can bid your own price. Hey Amazon, your price is too high. Can you give this EC2 instance for this price? So how we can bid that? So we have an option called pricing history. Look into the pricing history and what is the pricing, like, option from last 5 days or last 10 days or last 1 month. If it is constant, yes, you can go and bid your price. So then Amazon is going to give the EC2 instance. But there is a disadvantage with this spot instance. So if demand is high, Amazon might increase the pricing of this spot instance. So if price got increased, Amazon is going to terminate our EC2 instance. They will give warning period, of course, but that is not sufficient to transfer all the data and all. So the mechanism is, whatever the Amazon pricing is there, you are not ready to pay that. So you are bidding your own price. When Amazon pricing is equal to your bidded price, or your price is more than AWS price, so then AWS immediately gave the EC2 instance. But if Amazon price got increased, your instance will terminate automatically. So there is no guarantee for instance always up and running for the spot instances. But you will get instances at cheapest cost, high configuration instances for cheapest cost. So here for the spot instances, we can bid against the AWS pricing. If your quoted price is equal, if your quoted price is equal or more than AWS price, we will get the instance. If price increased by AWS, our instance terminates. Terminates means technically deleted. Our instance is going to delete it if AWS increases. So that is a spot instance mechanism. Of course, we have pricing history and we have spot fleet request where you don't need to go with the fixed price, where you can define, okay, this is what the maximum price I want to set up. So then if any spikes happened also, so that doesn't affect our server and all, but we don't run any our production environment with the spot instances. So for example, let's assume this is a day and this is a price. So this is a on-demand pricing. So now the spot pricing, how much it is trending from last 4 days, it will give a graph. So for example, from last 1 week, the price is constant and stable. You're getting that instance for 50 cents in one of the availability zone in episode 1A. So as price is stable from last 1 week, what you can do, you can go and bid for this price. So if instance is available, Amazon will give the EC2 instance. What you can do, you are worrying, like, for example, if this a spike happened, so it become like, 52 cents, immediately AWS terminates our instance. If you don't want to get into such type of scenarios, AWS gave an option where you can define, okay, my maximum spot pricing is this. My maximum spot pricing is 80 cents. So in between 51 cents happen, no issue, 52 cents happen, no issue. You still have your EC2 instance. Why? Because you defined a maximum mechanism here. So we can go with the maximum pricing mechanism, and a limitation is maximum pricing should not exceed on-demand price. So for example, if you're trying to give, okay, $1.5 as a maximum, it won't take. Maximum is a on-demand pricing only. Okay, so this maximum advantage is if little spikes happen for this pricing, we won't lose our EC2 instance. That is an advantage with the maximum. And we can define the duration, 1 year duration, 2 years duration. And we can even run our application with the combination of these categories also. For example, some instances you can take on demand, some you can take reserved, and some you can take spot instance also. That is also works for us. So these are the main 3 types of EC2 instances we have, and 90% of the times we go with the on-demand EC2 instance and reserved instances. So the problem with this reserved instance is you will get good amount of discount whenever you go with the full upfront only. So you need to pay a lot of amount as a initial thing. So that is against like, the startup kind of things, right? Why we are coming to cloud, moving to the cloud. So we don't want to take that upfront cost and also that's why we are moving. So I've seen many of the organizations went with on-demand EC2 instances, right? So now I'm open to all your questions on these on-demand EC2 instances.
Avinash, when you say like on demand, so we don't have like specific configuration, right? So will it increase as per our job job requirement, or we have to increase it?
We have to increase it.
Okay.
When coming to on demand, we need to change that.
Okay.
So if you're, one second, if
Yes.
you're launching an EC2 instance, if you are going with this particular option, so you are selecting a configuration here. Okay, I need one CPU, 1 gigs of the RAM. I need one CPU, 2 GB of the RAM. So based on this configuration, we are going to get charged. Based on this configuration, we are going to get charged. That is a primary thing. And if you are just going with this wizard, so that means you are launching a on-demand EC2 instance. If you need a reserved instance, navigate to reserved instance, click on purchase reserved instance. As I mentioned, like, the pricing involved with multiple things based on the operating system, based on the tenancy, I'll talk about this. That's our tomorrow's topic. So you want to go with the standard reserved instance, then what is the configuration you require? I'm going with T2 micro. So I want to go with the 1 year term and payment. So no upfront or all upfront or partial upfront. Okay, let me see all upfront cost. Then click on search. See here, for 12 months, I need to pay $63 for this configuration T2 micro. That comes with one CPU, 1 gigs of the RAM. So do I need to pay anything hourly basis? As it is a all upfront or full upfront. So I no need to pay anything now. So you already, whenever you are adding to cart and then you need to complete the payment here. So then you will get this EC2 instance, you can start using it. So that is a standard. Whenever you are picking convertible, see for standard, the price is $63. But when coming to convertibility, $73. So why $73? The mechanism is same. No need to pay anything hourly basis as you're going with all upfront. So the reason is as they're giving a flexibility to upgrade configuration later on, they're costing bit more for this. They're costing bit more for this. Right. So if you're going with like, standard, but you're going with partial upfront. See, for full upfront cost is $73. So when coming to partial upfront, so see here, the upfront price, that means currently you need to pay $32. You need to pay $32. So then hourly rate is going to be 0.004. So if you're running for 750 hours, so then you will get bill of $3. 0 dot, am I correct? So 0.004 is a hourly rate. Monthly, maximum how many hours we have? Maximum 744, 750, let's make it as. So if you are running continuously per month, I'm going to get charged $3. So $32 plus $3 monthly base. So if I'm running 750 hours, then only I'm going to, otherwise not going to. So monthly $3 into 12 months I'm going to. So again 36 plus 32, this is going to be yearly cost. And so it depends on configuration also. So earlier effective price is 0.007. As you are paying $32, the effective hourly price got reduced to $0.004. So then how many hours you are going to run, you can pick that. So that is with partial upfront. Whenever you are going with no upfront, so the effective price is 0.008 and hourly price also 0.008, right? So you are going to get charged with 0.008 as a hourly price and all. So that depends again on what operating system you are selecting. If you are going with Windows operating system, it is going to cost bit more. See here 0.012. So it varies. So if you want to see that standard, here we have convertible we have, but where is that scheduled resort? As I mentioned, that is not available here. So let's navigate to Northern Virginia. So whenever you want to go with the schedule, here you can find schedule instances. Click on begin. So here you can find what are the scheduled reserved instances, how exactly it is going to work and all you can find here. You should get a image. I'm looking for an image actually. So it clearly shows one. No, come on. I think I have given that image in our documentation. So let's click on begin. Okay, create a schedule. So allow plus or minus 2 hours window. So here for duration. So weekly I want to daily I need an instance for 4 hours, or weekly I need an EC2 instance on the selected days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I want to get this EC2 instance and for a duration of 80 hours, for a duration of 80 hours. So then go here, what instant type you required. You need to choose a configuration. Then what platform, Linux or Windows, in what availability zone you want to launch. Then you need to find a schedule. 80 is between 4 and 167 only, right? I don't know. That might be a issue. Find schedule. Here it will show the instances. So you need to purchase, it will show the pricing. So this is a schedule reserved instance. When coming to spot instances, if you want to go with the spot instances, we have two options. One easiest option is go to launch instances. What operating system you required, select it. What configuration you required, you can select the configuration. So then we have an option called purchasing option. Here request spot instance. Click on that. It will show the current price of the spot instance. So you can go and you can bid this. Okay, the current spot instance pricing is 0.0074. So we can go here, we can select the maximum pricing. Now, is it only one time request or do you want to purchase this request? So then select this. Okay, if price is increased, if price got increased, what exactly you want to do? You want to stop the instance, you want to terminate the instance, that we can choose. And whatever the request I'm generating now, this request is going to be valid from today to, so this request is valid up to. So then we can define, so till tomorrow 7:55 a.m. this request is valid. If it is only one time, you don't need to select this. Okay, just go and define your maximum price you want to pay for the selected configuration, then launch an EC2 instance. Go here, add tag. So what security group and all, don't worry about this. This all we are going to discuss. So now here you observe requesting a spot instance. See, what I did, I launched a spot request and I got an EC2 instance or not, we need to verify here. So the old request, spot request is not available here. Let's navigate to instances. So we do not have any instance. It is a request. So whenever the pricing is matched, so then we will get the spot instances. So here it will show the spot request. So you have a doubt like, what configuration you want to, what pricing you want to bid for this EC2 instance or the specific configuration. So in that case, we have an option called request spot instances. Second, let me go to Mumbai. Did I launch it in Mumbai? Yes, I created the spot request in Mumbai. So here is a spot request. What is the status of the spot request? It's a one-time request and the status is fulfilled. That means if you go to spot instances, see here, we got an EC2 instance. So generally, for the selected configuration, what exactly the pricing and at what price we got, that you might get it out. So for that, go and look into this pricing history. Whenever you click on this pricing history, see what configuration we selected, T2 small. So click on pricing history. For T2 small, in what availability zone it got launched? It launched in AP South 1B. So I'm going to select AP South 1B availability zone here. So in AP South 1B, this is a AP South 1B. See, this on-demand pricing is 0.0248. So if I just go and launch an EC2 instance, I will get an EC2 instance at $0.0248. Fine. But now at what cost I got this spot instance? At $0.0074, I got this EC2 instance. So there is a variation, right? This red color one is a spot instance pricing. This black color one is a on-demand EC2 instance pricing. So I'm saving this much cost. But what is the advantage? So what is the disadvantage with this? If you're taking 1 month or if you're taking 3 months, the price is almost constant. So there is no issue with that. But it is not going to be constant always. So if you're taking another EC2 instance, I'll show you. So I'm going to cancel this request. Click on cancel request. What do you want to do whenever you're canceling this request? Terminate the instance. Confirm. So I manually cancel this request. Right, the request is cancelled. And if we go here, see here, it is shutting down. See, I'm not performing anything from this console. From spot request console only, I have cancelled the request and instance got terminated. So request also I need to perform from here only. Right. So based on our bidded price. So if you observe this pricing history, let's take this pricing history. If you take different configuration C5 large, if you're taking 3 months, see here is the price is constant. Let's take only AP South 1C or let's take only AP South 1A. See, at some point of time, the price is here and a little low and again a little spike here. So the price is not constant. So here ups and downs is happening. But in this case, the best mechanism is go and select 0.060 as the maximum pricing. So in that case, little spikes doesn't terminate your EC2 instance. So it varies, guys. So for example, if you're taking any other instance category C, it is not going to be fixed always. So for some instances, it might be constant, but for some instances, see here, it is started here, then came back, ups and downs is happening. So by looking into this graph, for a temporary request, we go with the spot instances. Again, very less times we go and choose the spot instances. Right, that's the first thing. And second thing, you can even request spot instances from this console. Go here, click on request spot instances. This is use case, just leave it. And don't worry about what is this AMI, what is network and all. So I just want to deliver the spot mechanism. So here, if you observe, we have some defaults. So now you're launching a spot EC2 instance. How many you required and all you can define here. I need one EC2 instance. I need two EC2 instances. So then you can go and you can define what is the maximum pricing. So you can set your maximum price. Okay, for the selected configuration for C5 large, so I can go and choose 0.060 as my maximum price, right? I can go and give 0.60. So then in between if price spikes happen also nothing. So this request is going to be valid from this particular date to 1 year basically. It picks or you can change based on your requirement, right? So once this request completed, what do you want to do with your EC2 instances? I want to terminate that instance. So we can go and request from instances from here also. So that is a spot category. And one important thing you need to understand when coming to certification point of view. So if price is increased by AWS, our instance is going to terminate and we no need to pay for partial hour. So, but if price not increased by AWS, you terminated your instances we need to pay full hour cost. So if you take the same as like, a couple of minutes back, we did that, right? So I have created this request. So I have created this request, and what happened? I have quoted for one price. So Amazon given that EC2 instance to me. So price is not increased, but I done with my requirement. So I went and I have canceled the request, right? So as I have canceled the request, what Amazon is going to do? Amazon is going to cost me for 0.00 what 0.0074, right? So Amazon is going to cost me $0.0074. So but you run your server for like 1 hour 45 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes. So but instance like the price is increased and AWS terminated your EC2 instance. So in this case we are going to get charged only 1 hour cost. But here you need to pay 1 hour 45 minutes cost you need to pay as you are terminating. So that is an important question for your certification exam. Right. So yeah, any questions now on these instant types, guys?
Hi, Avinash. In the spot instances, we have set to some maximum value, right? In that case, if there is any spike, will it going to charge the spike value or whatever the bid cost?
So whenever you are giving the maximum pricing, so if spike happens within that hour, we are going to get charged with that spike price. I'm getting lot of background noise.
Yeah. What in case of decline time? Will it going to charge less than what we bid?
Yes,
Okay.
the price varies based on the spikes. If
Okay,
it is
fine.
going up, we'll get charged more. If it is going low, we'll get charged less.
Yeah, thank you. And one more question. What is the minimum term for this RI?
For reserved instance, minimum 1 year.
1 year. In case of 6 months or 3 months, if we require, we have to go with on demand, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Avinash, we talked about memory and CPU. So, what about the hard disk? Is it
Okay.
free?
Okay, we haven't talked about any resource. I will talk about that.
Okay.
Can you please explain what is workload? Is it storage space at cloud? No, the server and the server resources. You will come to know about that workload in our, coming session tomorrow. So can you please share a business case for spot instance and if it can ever be justified as a best case scenario? See, the scenario is pretty straightforward. You need a high configured server at lowest cost for a temporary workload. Then we go and choose the spot instance. That is a business case or like, the use case scenario for spot instances. But there is an issue, there is a, drawback with that, that if price increased, AWS will terminate. Ajinke, what is difference between T2 micro? That I haven't talked about. So that I'll discuss tomorrow. If you have any question related to this, ask me now.
Hi, Avinash. One more question.
Yes, please. So please go ahead with your question.
Sorry, I forgot. I'll continue once I remember. You carry on.
All right.
Sorry.
I have a question like here. Being a cloud operations guy or being a cloud architect, do you think these things day to day operate these, or these are one-time setups like InfoSec and cloud enterprise architect decides these things?
So basically, we are going to get a lot of requests from a lot of clients. So they will ask you sometimes what is the best configuration for this is what our workload, this is what our requirement and all. So as a basic thing on EC2, you must know these all types. Either you are a architect or you are a operations guy or you are a developer, that doesn't matter. So this is a very basic on EC2. So you must know what type of EC2 instance you are going to suggest, or if you have a requirement to launch your application and deliver your application. So you must know the use cases. So then only you can propose best or then only you can choose the best.
Okay.
Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, kind of. I'm good. Thank you.
Right. Hi, Avinash. One more thing. Sorry,
Yeah.
for the spot instances, there is an option called stop instance and hibernate, right?
We haven't gone through any instance options yet that I told you that we will.
Okay. It's okay. All right.
Yeah.
Avinash, you said like we'll get notice from AWS before they cancel this spot instance, right? So how much time they will give us, or can we increase our spot price that time, or maybe we can copy this to some other machine and with higher spot price? Do you
I
have
got
that
that.
feature?
So basically, Amazon is going to give just 2 minutes warning period. So within that 2 minutes warning period, we need to configure. So basically, we need to configure that thing by using another service called AWS Event Bridge. So here we need to choose, like, um, whenever you are selecting EC2 service here. So we have an option, spot instance interruption warning. So whenever you are selecting this, the service provider as AWS, service name as EC2 event, whenever this event is occurred, so you want to get notification. When request got fulfilled, I want to get notification. Then we can go here and we can trigger to get a notification to give an SNS topic. So what SNS topic you want to get, you can add that. So that in detail, we will go in our CloudWatch. So, but I believe I have shown that option here. So it's a 2 minutes interruption warning. And we can't increase that. Did I answer your question, Mohammed?
Yes, Avinash, thank you.
Yeah.
Avinash?
Okay. If we create spot instance for one time and terminate the instance after finishing the job, in this case, what will be the cost mechanism? I think I covered that here, Prasanna. You're done with your job, you terminated your EC2 instance, then this is a cost mechanism. You need to pay for everything.
We have to pay with the effective rate here, right? In this case.
Yes. All right, so let's discuss what is the EC2 instance isolation, backend isolation. So how exactly we are going to get this EC2 instance? That's what we are going to discuss now. So I hope you guys are there in our demo session that I have explained virtualization. So we have mainly, quickly let me cover that. So mainly we have two kinds of virtualization. One is host-based hypervisor or host-based virtualization and bare metal virtualization. So whatever the one you're using with the VirtualBox or VMware Player or VMware Workstation or KVM Player, so those all are, you're going to have a hardware. On top of this hardware, you're going to install like an operating system like a Windows 10 or like, Ubuntu or any other operating system. So then on top of this, you're going to install a application like, VirtualBox, Oracle VM VirtualBox or VMware, right? So then you can launch VMs here. You are going to get all your VMs here. Now, this VM is going to consume resources from this hardware only. This Windows 10 also consume resources from this hardware only. This VM also consume resources from hardware only. So, but initially we need to start this. Then only you can run this application. You can start this, right? So this Windows 10, we call it as a host. So this is a host for the virtual machines. So this mechanism, we call it as a host-based hypervisor or host-based virtualization, right? So this Windows 10 is going to consume a lot of resource and also we can eliminate that operating system in our enterprise level. So we are going to have a hardware. we are going to have a hardware. So on top of that hardware, we are going to install a hypervisor. So ESXi is a hypervisor. So Hyper-V is a hypervisor. Zen is a hypervisor. Nitro is a hypervisor. So we need to choose one of the hypervisor based on our organizational requirement. Then on directly hardware, you can run your VMs. Right. So here we are eliminating this host. So in place of that host directly, our VM is communicating to directly bare metal. This is a hardware. So with very small operating system, not even like, not even 500 MB operating system, this is on top of that operating system that we call it as a hypervisor actually technically. So by using that hypervisor, it directly communicating to the hardware. There is no operating system involved like this host. So this mechanism, we call it as a bare metal hypervisor. Right. So when coming to AWS, it follows this bare metal hypervisor, and even 99% of the organization for enterprise workload, they go with the bare metal hypervisor only. When coming to AWS, not just this only one layer, it contain multiple layers. So those we will discuss now. First of all, we are going to have a hardware. The physical resources resides here. On top of the physical resources, we are going to have AWS managed firewall solution, and top of that customer managed firewall solution that called security groups. Whatever the port you want to open and all that you need to open yourself, and this is the AWS managed one. And on top of this, we are going to get a virtual interface. That virtual interface will be designed and managed or made it available by using a hypervisor. So that hypervisor comes here. Then we are going to get our EC2 instance. This is customer 1 EC2 instance, customer 2 EC2 instance, and customer N EC2 instance. So this is a physical resource. In simple, this is a hardware, actual hardware. So then on top of that, AWS managed firewall solution. These are the security groups. Let's assume this is customer 1 security group, customer 2 security group, and customer N security group. So on top of this, virtual interfaces. So then this virtual interface actually comes from a hypervisor called Xen, and recently Amazon developed their own hypervisor called Nitro hypervisor. So basically the Xen hypervisor is developed by an organization called Citrix. It is an open source hypervisor. Open source means anyone can get access to the source code, they can take and they can modify and they can use it for any purpose, either it is a commercial or like educational purpose. They can use for any purpose. So Amazon took that Xen initially, then they used and later on they started developing their own hypervisor. That hypervisor name is Nitro hypervisor. So then here we are going to get customer 1 instance. So here customer 2 EC2 instances, and this is customer N EC2 instance. So in this case, the same physical resource is shared with multiple AWS customer. So this mechanism, we call it as a shared resource mechanism. So this tenancy, it's a shared tenancy mechanism. So whenever any request is coming, for all the requests come to this physical resource only. So then this AWS evaluates here, okay, to what EC2 instance this need to go. So that will go to that particular, then it will go here. So whenever we are launching this EC2 instance, we need to choose some configuration. Okay, I need 1 CPU, I need 2 CPUs, I need 8 GB RAM, I need 12 GB RAM, 24 GB RAM. So that entire resources comes from here. It will be converted as a virtual. Then from here, it will be made it available by using Xen hypervisor. Right? So another customer request is coming. So first it comes to AWS managed, AWS filters here. Then the customer, you can select, okay, whether any traffic is coming from outside the network and all, you can configure to any or allow here. Then it come to your EC2 instance. So same hardware, multiple customers are using. So this tenancy, when coming to the tenancy, shared tenancy. So we have dedicated tenancy also. So underlying hardware shared with multiple customers. When coming to dedicated tenancy, so this underlying resource is not going to share with anyone. So this underlying resource is there, right? It is not going to share with any other AWS customers. So this entire resource is yours. As Amazon is giving the dedicated tenancy, obviously they are going to cost more. Okay, they are going to cost us bit more for the dedicated tenancy. So while launching our EC2 instance, whenever you are launching EC2 instance, after selecting the operating system and after selecting the configuration, so here we have an option called tenancy. So do you want to go with a shared tenancy? Run a shared hardware instance, that comes under free tier eligibility. But if you are selecting dedicated, here the underlying hardware is not going to share with any other customers. So within this dedicated, again, we have two types: dedicated instance, dedicated host. So host is nothing but this. This is nothing but this particular layer is nothing but host. Instance is nothing but this. So one thing you need to understand, in both the cases, underlying hardware is not going to share with any other customer. First thing. Second thing, if you purchase this host, you can launch multiple instances. If you purchase a host, you can launch multiple instances on top of the host. So high configuration, host is high configuration, we can launch multiple instances. When coming to the second option, that is a dedicated instance. So you are going to get a dedicated EC2 instance. Again, you are going to get the same thing. Underlying hardware is not going to share with any other one. So, but the hardware is going to be low configuration. Whatever the configuration you're selecting, that entire configuration is going to that much small. But dedicated host, huge configuration. So that's what it is. So if you are selecting dedicated instance, see, nothing available here. But if you are looking for dedicated host, now how you are going to launch instances into this placement group, how many instances you want to launch and all, that we can select. So even here, whenever you are going with the dedicated host, go to dedicated host. Whenever you are clicking on allocated dedicated host, so then it will ask us, okay, what is the instance family you required? A, B, C, T, different categories available. So support multiple instance types. Whenever you select this, we are getting this hardware. On top of this hardware, I am selecting, okay, I need multiple instant types here, not just only one instant types, multiple instant types. Where you want to get it? In AP South 1A, and instance auto placement is going to happen automatically. And host recover the physical issues. If any issues happen at physical layer, we can recover that also. So then whenever you click on allocate, never ever do that. It's going to cost very, very heavily. Okay. So here you can go and you can purchase this entire hardware. Otherwise, you can just go and you can pick this also as a dedicated option. So one thing. Second thing, whenever you are selecting dedicated host, we can see for example, some applications, they are going to work with the CPU licenses. For example, what is that? Veeam backup is there. For example, if you observe Veeam backup license. So Veeam if you observe this license, it comes with the how many CPUs you are going to apply and all. So for backup for 10 instances, one thing, and based on CPU also. See here you can see license unit is per socket. So per CPU socket we are going to get charged. So in such type of cases, if you have an application, custom application where you want to apply your license at hardware level, so we need to go with the dedicated host only. Why? Because we must see how we are binding our license with the hardware CPUs. So in that case, we need to go with the host based. So that is important for your certification exam, right? So the simple logic is, see, you are taking a cab, and within that cab you and your family members want to travel, so then you're going to book a cab, so the entire cab is yours. On top of that, you only your family members is traveling. That is one case. Second case also same, you are booking a cab, but cab is not going to share with anyone, but only you are going to travel. Remaining all, if seats are there, it will be empty. If seats are not available, so if only one seat is there, yes, you are going to consume that. So in both the ways, only hardware is going to share with you. So one, huge configuration, huge cost. Another one, less configuration one and less cost. And when coming to Ola Pool or Uber Share, the hardware is going to share. You're going to have your seat, fine. So some another guy who really don't know, that guy also is going to consume the same resources. So this is a instance isolation diagram and tenancy mechanism. On dedicated host, we can launch multiple instances. Technically, those are dedicated. On your hardware, you're launching instances. But here, we will get dedicated instance. In both the cases, underlying hardware will not share with any other customers. More visualization here. And if you want to bind any licenses to CPU or memory resources, we need to choose this. And in very less cases, we go with this, guys. Until unless the client is very specific. Okay, this is what my compliance and all, this is how exactly I want to go. So whenever the client is very specific, then only we go with this. 90% of the times we go with the shared tenancy only. Okay. So from certification point of view, you must know this particular thing. Right. So any questions on this EC2 instance isolation?
Yeah, Vinash, I have a question like where exactly user is going to hit being an AWS consumer? Where is my entry point here in this diagram?
So first thing, whatever traffic, first to your EC2 instance, the entry point is, it's a physical hardware only. Then it goes to AWS managed firewall. So this is your managing. For example, you launched a Windows server. So you want to get connected to the Windows server. So it is going to work on RDP protocol. So that protocol must be open here. So then only the traffic will allow to this EC2 instance. So if
Then
you
how
don't
does
open this, if you won't open that, you cannot get connected to it. So that's in your hand.
well again my confusion is here. My request should validate is it a legitimate request or not, right? When I go through my account, it has to be before firewall, before the hardware. Am I wrong here? How come?
You have a server, in your data center, and you're sitting at your desk and you're trying to access. So take this as a scenario and please raise that question again.
or there I'm already in my data center. So it's within the network. So I don't have any firewall before that. But here I'm hitting from externally, right? So my request has to pass the firewall, then only hit the AWS.
Yes. So it is
But
passing
here,
two firewalls here. One firewall is managed by AWS. This firewall is managed by you.
okay.
While launching, we need to configure this. Otherwise, you cannot get connected to it. Okay, I will do one thing. We'll do one thing, Avi. So I'll take this question tomorrow. Why? Because tomorrow I'm going to launch my EC2 instance, right?
Sure, sir. Let's do that.
So I'm going to launch our first EC2 instance. So then you might get a clarity on that. Otherwise, I'll take that question again.
Thank you so much.
So when we buy dedicated hardware instance from one region, is it available in different region too? No. If you purchase a hardware in region 1, you need to consume in region 1 only. You cannot move it to region 2 and all. So that we haven't discussed. So please don't go such type of things at moment. Why? Because I'm going to explain how to move a server from one region to another region and all. So I hope you need to wait till that session, Pragati.
What is the difference between hypervisor and a virtual interface?
Hypervisor and
Virtual interface.
hypervisor will hypervisor will convert this physical interface as a virtual interface. Hypervisor is a software who made physical interface, who convert that physical resources to virtual resources.
Okay, I'm not from a computer background. If we have some link or some stuff that I can go through it to
No,
understand.
that's why I explained, like, what is hypervisor, right?
Hypervisor.
Sometime back, see, you have a VM. I think you didn't get that concept completely. So can you run multiple operating system in your server? In your laptop, can you run multiple operating systems?
No.
We can. So this is your laptop. For example, this is my laptop. Within this laptop, I have VirtualBox. I can install
through
this.
virtual box we can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might hear about that application, right? So now this VirtualBox, for this server, I have an operating system called Ubuntu. For this operating system, I have given some configuration. See, I have given 2 GB RAM. This 2 GB RAM, is there any physical 2 GB RAM in my laptop? No, right? But 2 GB RAM I am allocating to this. This 2 GB RAM, we call it as a virtual resources. So how many processors I'm giving? I'm giving one processor. So that is what this virtual interface means. How I'm getting this? Here in this scenario, because of an application called Oracle VM VirtualBox, I'm getting this virtual interfaces. And in AWS scenario, because of this Xen, we are getting this virtual interfaces.
Can I say virtual machine is a virtual interface?
Sorry?
VM, the software that you have shown me, like virtual machine software. Can I say that is a virtual interface?
So this is VMware VirtualBox. So what this VMware VirtualBox is doing, it is sharing resources on this, like, soft resources, not as a hardware resources. So how much I have on hardware? For example, I have total 8 GB. This 8 GB is there here, right? That is what virtual interface. This 8 GB is virtual interface. Out of that 8 GB, how much I'm allocating to that resource? That I can allocate here. Similarly, you can take and, like, what exactly configuration you require, you can take that. That configuration, from where it is coming? From this virtual interface that is made available by Xen.
Xen. Got it. Thanks.
Any other questions, guys?
I think Avinash, while configuring the spot instance, right, there was an option that you chose, right? Allowed 2 hours time window. So
Allowed to?
2 hours time window. So what was that for?
So that is for, scheduled reserved instance, not for spot instance.
Uh-huh.
So for scheduled reserved instances, so now you need a server, from Monday morning 9 o'clock to Friday evening. So sometimes what happened at the time, if the resource is not available, your server might launch at 7 o'clock only. If resource is available from 7 o'clock only, it will start running. Otherwise, from 11 o'clock. So from 9 o'clock, the start time is 9 o'clock. It is allowed before 2 hours or after 2 hours.
Okay. So that's a span basically. I mean, plus minus 2 hours. Something.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Well, Avinash, one more question pertaining to this spot instances. In RI, there is a schedule, right? We have made some configuration. For example, you say like Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, and one more example like 40 hours. Is that configuration interchangeable during the period, during the term? Or do I need to stick to certain only fixed configuration? Like if I set Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I already mentioned that we need to go with the fixed configuration.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. All right.
Any other questions, guys? So tomorrow we are going to launch our first EC2 instance. All right. So then that's it for today's session. See you again tomorrow, guys. Thank you.